Previously, I showed you how to tap into your car's CAN bus. In that video, I used the weekend OBD adapter. This adapter costs about $60 after taxes shipped to US, and that's a lot. To be fair, the weekend does a lot too. Luckily, you can make it yourself for under $10. It does not have much features as the weekend, but it's more than good enough to read your car's CAN bus. At the core of the weekend is this ESP32 chip. Here you can see that I bought the old model. This one has micro USB connection. Then I bought another one with USB-C. If you're going to buy the USB-C one, this model in particular, then be sure to hold down the boot button as you are flashing as you are installing the new firmware onto it. Otherwise, it will not be recognized. You'll see what I mean later on when we flash. The next piece you need is this module. I would recommend buying this one instead of buying this flat module. I know that they're using the exact same chip, but for some reason, this brand right here does not work. I spent at least 6 to 8 hours trying to troubleshoot, and it ultimately led to the conclusion that this module is defective or fake. Apparently, a lot of people, a lot of companies are selling these as fakes. They're not worth a lot of money, but for some reason, they're still selling as fakes. Let's focus on this module. When you receive it, be sure to get rid of the resistor right there. By default, there is a 120 ohms resistor. If you want to double check, put your multimeter onto these two terminals right here, 1 and 2. Put the multimeter into resistance mode. If you see that there is 120 ohm resistance between these two terminals using the meter, go ahead and use an X-Acto knife or a very small flat screwdriver to destroy the bridge right here. With the two components ready, let's wire them together. My wiring is based on this setup right here. I know it looks super complicated, and I'm going to simplify it for you. We're looking at two totally different ESP32 chip. This one has 30 pins, I believe, and this one has 38 pins, much bigger. For the 30 pins chip, we got ground to ground, 3.3 volts to 3.3 volts, Texas to Texas, and RX goes to RX. I know usually it's TX to RX and RX to TX, but in this case it's straight all the way through. TX to TX, RX to RX. If we're looking at the 38 pins chip, then it's a little bit different just because the pins are rearranged differently. 3.3 volts is on the left-hand side. It still goes to 3.3, of course. Ground goes to ground. GPIO16 is RX, and GPIO17 goes to TX. If you're going to plug this DIY CAN bus sniffer into the OBD port, then you'll definitely need something like this. Then this will be wired into your module as seen in this diagram. I know that this looks a little bit intimidating, but you only need CAN high, CAN low, and ground. 3 wires. For our simple project, we're not using the micro SD card, nor the buck converter. Looking through the tech manual of my car, this is what I found. One of the BCAN bus is located under the front passenger seats. Here are all of the pins associated with this wiring bundle. You can see that I connected the CAN low to the 4th pin, which is B CAN low. My CAN high will be connected to the B CAN high of the car. Ground will go from this pin of the ESP32 to ground of the 14 pin as seen here. All in all, it's pretty easy, right? 4 wires from ESP32 to the CAN module, and then 3 more wires going to the seat harness of my car. Remember, ESP32 chip comes in all flavors and sizes. What matters is that the GPIO17 is TX and GPIO16 is RX. If you get any other chip that, for some reason, the TX and RX are on totally different GPIO, like for instance, if they are located here, then once you flash the chip with the firmware, it will not work. If you are using different funky flavors of the ESP32 chip that the TX and RX pins are not in the GPIO16 and 17, then you have to download all these files and recompile the firmware yourself. I really hate compiling firmwares, so I'm very grateful that the author of this website has created this web tool. It will flash the firmware onto our chip. If you are using Firefox like myself right now, then it's no good. You have to switch over to Chrome or Edge web browser to flash the chip. Whenever I flash my ESP32 chip, I like it to be bare bone, meaning no wire, no module is connected to it. It's just my ESP32 connected to my laptop or desktop via the USB cable. So let's get started. Click on Flash, find your ESP32 chip, select the one where it says something about UART Bridge Controller. Click on Connect. Click Install. Click Erase. Click Next. As mentioned earlier, this ESP32 of mine is kind of weird. It wants me to hold down the boot button during the flashing process. Now is a good time to hold down that boot button on your ESP32 chip. Click Install again. As soon as you see erasing, then you can let go of the boot button. This process takes about 2 minutes. It does not matter if your computer is fast or slow. Now is a good time to grab some ice cream. By the way, if this video is helpful, please consider subscribing and liking the video. This lets YouTube know my video is indeed helpful and will recommend to others like yourself. Click on Next and then close it out. The flashing process is complete now. This is what my setup looks like. I'm using an older board with the micro USB port. We only used 4 connections as seen before in the diagram. I know it looks a little bit funky. That's just because I'm going in and out of the power rail of this breadboard to provide voltage and ground. I plug the CAN module in vertically. The 3 wires are CAN low, CAN high, and ground. Ground is tapped into the wire for ground, which is the brown wire going in. We're coming out with male DuPont connectors instead of paper clips as seen in the last video. To prevent the wires from touching each other, I'm using electrical tape to seal it off. You can use heat shrink if you want. In this case, I got lazy and I just used electrical tape. I didn't do it for ground because ground is not touching anything. The CAN low and CAN high is very close to each other in my car, so that's why they are taped off. Notice we are not tapping into 12 volt for power from the car as before. That's why we'll need a micro USB cable, plug it into this end, and on the other hand, we'll plug it into a power brick to get power. This is the BCAN bus that you saw earlier in the diagram. I'm going to plug in CAN high first. Ground, CAN high, CAN low. On the opposite side, we got the micro USB connected. Then we're going to plug the other end into a power brick to get power. As soon as this gets powered, the LED on the ESP chip will be lit up. That's good. With the ESP chip powered on, you need to connect it to it wirelessly. Let's find the ESP32 chip access point. This is the access point name. Click on it. Click on Connect. If it asks you for a password, type in the password, which is this, Motivate. Since I connected mine earlier, it remembers the password. Now let's open SavvyCAN up. Go to Connection. Open Connection window. Add new device. Network. The default address is auto-filled in, and that's good. Click on Create New Connection. Once the connection is established, then you'll see that the messages will start streaming in. Make sure that the speed matches your car. For most modern car, it's 500,000. Click on Close. Click on Auto Scroll window to see the new data coming in. I don't want to spend too much time in SavvyCAN just because I don't fully understand it. If you know how, please make a video and share it with everyone down in the comment section below. I did show the basics in the previous video. You can decipher the messages manually, visually yourself, or just save the log file and give it to AI to decode for you. I really appreciate you guys subscribing to my channel, liking this video, and thanks for watching.